Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva 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 Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata
Well, we'll cut the song at 11. Not now.
Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva 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 Gopala Gopala Devaki Nandana Gopala 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 Devaki Nandana 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 Gopala 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 Devaki Nandana Gopala Gopala Nana Gopala. Devaki Nana Gopala. Devaki Nana Gopala. Devaki Nana Gopala. Devaki Nana Gopala. Gopala, Gopala.
Welcome to Sunday Satsang. I think it really helps to have the chanting group ahead of Satsang. Thank you, Ralph. Welcome. Welcome, my beloveds. There is one very, very important step you need to take before you have your first enlightenment, which is the realization of no self. And that is to not believe the mind at all. To completely leave your mind behind, recognizing it's a tool for existence in the mundane world. It's not a tool that functions well or at all in the divine world. In the divine world, it's always just spontaneously happening and feeling that happening rather than watching that happening. For me, this occurred when taking a shower. What was it? 24 years ago. For the millionth time, I look inside myself, looking for the eye sense. Something happened. I saw there was no eye. I had been looking for 20 some years for my eye sense of I am. And there was nothing there. The word I pointed to an empty set. There were no objects it pointed to. It was just a concept, like the concept of the present King of France, of which there are none. So after believing for many years that I had an I inside of me, when I actually looked for 27 years, I couldn't find an I. I found an I sense, but I felt that there was something else deeper than that. But that day when I was in the shower and I looked inside for the I and I couldn't find it, I then asked myself, who is it that feels the water hitting my skin so delightfully? And I had been very happy that morning, that whole day. And then I realized there was just water hitting my skin. And there was no one who watched it. There was no entity that watched it. The I center was solely the creation of my mind. What a hit. I saw there was no I. There was just a vast emptiness that contained everything. And yet, not one word pointed to anything. If the I did not point to the center of the universe, which was I, everything else too was just a concept. Chair was a concept. Wall was a concept. Other was a concept. Tree was a concept. Space was a concept. And that day I escaped from the mind for the first time. Lived in emptiness. And at first there was great fear because I felt there was just emptiness. Yet there must be something somewhere that's protecting me. Otherwise, I'm defenseless. And this emptiness was like a vast space that one sees on a Sedona night away from the downtown, where the stars swirl across the sky. The Milky Way is very clear. And there's a sense of no air, of absolute vacuum. Nothing is there. And in some ways, it's utter freedom. Freedom from everything of the mind. In another sense, it's absolute terror, because it doesn't have the security of the mind's certainty about things or doubt. For some people, losing this mind is the best thing in the world for them, because they don't have a conflict anymore between the mind and the heart. So many people here feel things and think things which are different. They're 180 degrees apart. And it's a struggle. Which is true? Which do I follow? My mind or my heart? It becomes an unmanageable conflict. And they go back and forth between feeling and thinking. Thinking things should be one way. Feeling they should be another. And then thinking about the feeling. Feeling, this is not the life for me. And then saying to oneself, what should I do about it? How do I fix this? And there's always a constant struggle between thinking and feeling. I find this is particularly true among the women in our group, who are more used to feeling than men, and see and feel the conflict more acutely. But even this emptiness has its limitations. But it's absolutely necessary to get to a place where you don't believe anything your mind tells you. Whether it's about politics, about spirituality, about an electrical blueprint. You accept every word, every concept as a convenient fiction that may or may not work in the present situation to affect what you want to be effected or changed in the world. But essentially, you're a magician. Every moment choosing which fiction to function by in order to operate in the world. And the more you don't understand the mind and forget the mind, the more you understand what I'm talking about. Because there is no truth. No truth can ever be found in words. Because words are but a map describing a reality that does not exist. Words create an abstract, generic reality with concepts like chair and wall, safety, comfort, proper temperature, and all of these ideas enclose us in a bubble. It's like a virtual world that our mind creates and that we live in very conventionally in this mundane world of the mind, which is our zone of comfort. And we go day by day living in this rather barren world. Even if it's rich in experiences, it's still the same world over and over and over and over again. As Robert would put it, how much excitement or happiness do you encounter with your 10,000th love affair? Or the 20,000th time you're brushing your teeth? Or your 20,000th meal? Doesn't it get old? And most people live, are born, create their bubble, and stay in their bubble to the end of their life, and die thinking they're a person living in a mundane world, fearing death. But when you know that the mind is only map making, and there are hundreds of different maps every moment in space and time to create a different world, different way of picturing or conceiving of the world around us, which is best done with a totally empty mind that has no world, but can choose the fictions it uses to live in that world. You can choose energies, Shakti, and explain things in terms of Shakti. You can use concepts like God and give that name to certain experiences you have of your own inner vital life. Within you lives something I call the life force. Nisargadatta called it the vital force and said, find the vital force within you. Love it, worship it, and pray to it. And you can never go wrong. That life force within you, you can find it. Worship it, love it, and you won't go wrong. It'll unerringly guide you to the highest enlightenments. So that's principle number one. Don't believe the mind. Don't believe your mind. Mind is your enemy. It is not your friend. And this is not another principle, but the energies you can begin to feel when you leave the mind and go into feeling instead, what I call Shakti, or the energies, is like the voice of God within you. It's a manifestation of the vital force. It's a manifestation of the life force within you, moving throughout your body and your mind and your heart and your emptiness, all around, everywhere, touching you, speaking to you, encouraging you, making you feel bliss, making you feel alive, making you feel happiness. So this is not a separate principle. It's just a concept. The concept that Shakti, you are not Shakti, you are not the energies. They're the voice of God inside of you, letting you know that there is something in you besides you, which is the vital force. And when you know the vital force, it becomes you. But this brings us to the second principle. In order to escape mere emptiness and the uselessness of mind, you have to go one more step, which is totally embrace the life force within you, God within you. And you can only do that by moving to feeling rather than thinking or seeing. And most of us are thinkers and seers. We depend on an inner seeing, or seeing with our mind, our mind's eye. But when we lose our minds, feeling is unleashed. Principle number two. You have to learn how to love totally and completely, to fall desperately in love at the drop of a hat. Because it's this love, or ability to love, that allows you to find the life force within you, where you can find it, you can accept it, you can worship it, you can love it. And loving the life force within you, including the voice, Shakti, is the key to the second and greater enlightenment, which is to find the life force and be the life force through love and acceptance. God realization is the second enlightenment. And in this second enlightenment, you have moved from the unmanifest self, the noumenal self, which is beyond reality, beyond the manifest world, beyond everything you can experience, which is the manifest world. You have moved beyond the witness that watches the world dispassionately and everything going on as one world. You move beyond it to becoming totally engaged, totally reincarnated into your own body, where you feel everything in your body and around you. And there's a kind of unity in that also. But you become a feeling being immersed in emotions such as love, such as fear, such as anger, jealousy. You become a human being again. You become vulnerable again. You come to a place where you feel you're making no progress. You feel sorry for yourself. You feel empty. And at the same time, maybe you feel filled with love. Filled with feeling. Filled with desire. And maybe your body begins to feel filled with orgasms that may start in the sexual center, may start in your gut, may start in your heart, or even your head, and gradually spreads to your whole body until you're experiencing God bliss, a bliss so much deeper and more, what would you call it, gripping than any sexual orgasm you've ever had. Because it's no longer just physical, it's of the heart, it's spiritual, a different dimension, far more subtle, far more loving, and not of this world at all, not of the mundane world. It takes you all the way beyond the mundane world. Those are the two principles. Get rid of the mind. Get rid of the political mind that knows everything about everybody. Get rid of the judging mind that says my spirituality is superior to your spirituality. You don't really know, you're a baby. Get rid of the need to control, to be the center of control in the house. Be willing to just relax and let go. Go with the flow. But always watch the mind and recognize it's not helping you in any way. It just makes you feel secure because you know. And knowledge trumps insecurity. Mind is a way to make you feel safe because you know how things are and what the limits are, and you feel in control. But to lose your mind is to not be in control anymore. And it's so very, very hard to lose your mind. It happened to me in 1995 in the shower, but I had to lose my mind so many other times after that. It's not just a one-time process. It's a constant forgetting of your mind, leaving it alone, not trusting it, not believing in it, and instead believing in the deeper self of feeling, of your heart, of your sense of presence, trusting the pre-mind level of you, which at first feels so unsafe and so primitive compared with the subtlety of the mind. And yet the more you're in the feeling area and you feel energies, you see that there's an infinite depth of feeling which was totally missing when you're engaged in the mind. The mind grips you. There are energies, and there are things beyond the energies that precede them that are much deeper that you can only sense and can't give a word to because the word does not exist in the mundane world to describe those things you find in yourself at this deeper depth. There's activities down there that show infinite intelligence, an intelligence far beyond the mind, like how the body operates on a molecular level. You can only begin to feel that in your own existence the more you are away from the mind, which cannot grasp such subtlety at all and experiences it never in any way. And then for the rest of your life, there's a continuous unfolding in the land of feeling, in the land of devotion, in the land of happiness, in the land of energies, in the land of peace. And this land has nothing to do with the mundane world you live in now. Unfortunately, some who leave the mundane world and enjoy this divine world get arrogant and say, why should I go back to the world of men? I am no longer human. I am one with God. Why would I want to go back to the world of men, the world of the mundane? Their sense of compassion has not yet developed. Their sense of obligation to other creatures has not yet developed. They want to enjoy the bliss by themselves and forget about helping their neighbor who is still caught in the mind. This is the third trap. And the only way I know out of it is time. Time while they absorb themselves in their joy, in their energies, in their happiness. And then till one day, they see suffering in somebody they know. A cat that's ill, a person that's starving, or somebody dead in the streets from a bullet, and something breaks their heart. And they feel obligated to come back with their joy, to come back with their teachings of joy, to come back with the good news about the happiness that lies within once the mind is gotten rid of. And then for the rest of your life, or the life of this person, life unfolds as a constant magic carpet, taking you to miracle after miracle. And in between miracles, leaving you in a land of happiness, joy, all kinds of emotions that can come up, and you watch them come up, bubble up, and you enjoy them. Everything that arises within you is a happiness. But there are stages. For me, the worst and the first was getting rid of my mind because I was a mental being, you know, in 2 PhD programs in philosophy, getting an undergraduate degree in philosophy and economics. But even then, I saw the mind, what it creates, was a bullshit model, not truly reflective of the underlying reality. Economics as a whole is such an abstract science, you can never see it operating in your everyday life. The same with physics. You can never see it operating in your life except on the most rudimentary Newtonian manner, action, reaction, etc. But you don't see molecules or atoms in action. You don't see the disintegration of a radioactive nucleus as it splits into different, more stable elements. All of these are just theory, convenient fictions that allow you to create a nuclear reaction, nuclear reactor, nuclear power plant, and so forth. It allows you to create lasers. It allows you to collect solar panels that generate electricity. Science allows you, if you follow the convenient fiction, the correct convenient fiction, to create things that help you in everyday life. But even that everyday life, while you believe in the mind, is a mundane world that's now got nuclear reactors and solar panels and infinite, unending wars.